Hey everyone, this is a quick video to show you how to utilize SQL Pretty Printer. This is a little utility that will take SQL syntax, Transact SQL, and format it in a standardized way. So all the SQL that comes out of our office looks and feels the same. It also is going to help with standardizing the capitalization, the formatting of the output, etc. And there's also another use case I'll show you at the end of this video where it's going to be useful for us internally and how we could actually utilize it with Pivotal. So first things, this video is going to be put into two parts. The first part is how to configure the tool, and the second part is a couple use cases where I've already utilized it to deliver a couple SQL scripts out to clients. The tool's been installed on TS11. I chose that machine just because it's going to have the most longevity, being the latest service pack that we have currently. So go ahead and launch the product. It's going to be on the desktop, or you're going to have it on your start menu. It's called SQL Pretty Printer. When you first open it up, they display a couple sample scripts, and just so you can get an idea of what this does, this is the sample script that they provided, kind of a mess. When you hit the Pretty Print button, you now have it nicely formatted, indented, capitalization, etc. This is the tool that's going to help make things standardized for us. It's pretty easy to use. So the first thing, though, I would suggest is to turn off that demo script. Every time you open this, you don't want to have to go clear it out. So click on Settings and uncheck this box that reads Open Demo SQL. So if I go ahead and close the product, reopen it, I should end up with just a nice blank screen. The second thing we need to do from a configuration standpoint is there's hundreds of options of how to format the SQL. And I wasn't really fond with the out-of-the-box options, so I went through each one of these and turned on some formatting that I think is just a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to show you how to set the tool up to use this one configuration file that we can all share that's sitting up on the network. So you'll click on Options, and you'll notice that the active configuration is actually a local copy. It's underneath your user directory. So we're going to go choose a file that I actually have up on the network. So click on Choose, go up to your S drive, and it's going to be underneath your installers and SQL Pretty Print. And there is a CRMC, it's an INI file. Go ahead and select that, and you got to give it a name. So I chose CRMC, and then you can say I want to add the existing file. So that does add it to the list. The next step, you have to activate it, make it the active profile. So go ahead and select it and choose Activate, and that little Y becomes up here in the active. And now when you use the SQL Pretty Printer, it'll use those options that I've already set up. And again, everybody should do this. We'll all have the same output coming from everything. So that's part one, configuring the tool, turning off the sample SQL, and then going in and setting the options. Just a couple of quick tips now on how this works. If I go ahead and just type in select SAR from contact, if I hit Pretty Print, now I have a nice formatted with the indenting and capitalization of keywords, etc. So it takes this kind of mess and takes it across. It is doing more than just a keyword detection. They are actually running it through some kind of parsing, because if I do select from and try to hit Pretty Print, it will come back saying, well, you know, you're expecting a token of some sort. So they do actually run it through an engine to validate the SQL syntax, and that's going to come in play here in just a bit. So that is how to use the tool. Paste in your code, hit Pretty Print, then you can go ahead and just hit Copy All, and now it's in the clipboard, and you can paste it back in. So we've used this now to take several scripts that I've delivered to different clients. I've dropped it in here. It actually allows me to write SQL syntax a lot quicker, because I'm not really worried anymore about making it look nice. I can go ahead and just drop in the code, and then I get a nice formatted output there. So how would we use this? Obviously, any kind of SQL script that you write inside of Transact SQL, you could drop in here and then take the output, and that's what you'd deliver or test it. But one of the use cases where I think it's going to be really helpful is inside of our toolkit. Here is a query that I've written using the query editor inside of the toolkit, and all I'm doing is saying, hey, show me a company through an attribute that I wanted to fit. I also did a link to a parent record and also a link down to a children record. So this is actually pretty easy to read. You can use it in the toolkit. It's when you want to modify that in SQL. When you check on use custom SQL, you get this mess. And it's really tough if anybody's gone in here to go through and use this. There's a couple things it does. One, it just wraps everything, and it makes it really tough to read. They also use these aliases when you reference the same table more than once, and they put in these random characters. And this is really tough to read, especially with all these different parentheses and the nesting that they use. So when you want to go in there and add in a getDate function or some kind of dateDiff function or any other transact SQL function, it's really tough to utilize this. So this is where this Pretty Printer comes in play. Go ahead and select your code here, copy it, and I'm going to open this up, click on the SQL tab, and paste it in. Now if you remember in that previous example, if I just go ahead and hit Pretty Print, I get an error. It's saying that we can't parse this. And that's true because, everybody should know this from the toolkit, the query is the where clause of a SQL statement without the word where or anything in there. So it's just the where clause part. So to make this valid SQL, go ahead and just put in select star from whatever your entity is, company where. That's essentially what the toolkit is doing. It's adding that portion to it, building your word class. Now when I hit Pretty Print, I get this nice little output. This is way easier to read. There's my company, city like, Boulder, and there's my first exists, there's my second exists, and it's much easier to see, so we could actually go in and start modifying and taking out some of these clauses. The other thing you can do here as well is this alias. That's the goofy alias that they put in because they already have a company. So over here in the source SQL, you can actually just hit replace and paste in that name and call it something a little bit easier to read, maybe company_run 1. And so yeah, I want to go ahead and replace it all, and now when I hit Pretty Print, it's a little bit easier to read. So there's my select star from company 1, etc. Now to put this back into the toolkit, you got to remember the where clause portion of it we don't need. Everything after this, so it's just this part here. That was the piece that we copied out. I can Control C, copy that out. Go ahead and highlight the code I want to replace, and Control V, and now I've got a much easier SQL syntax to work with. It's all nice and formatted. So that's one use here where it's really going to help take auto-generated SQL from the toolkit into a format that we can use. And just to show that this is valid, if I uncheck this, you can see I'm right back to where I was. There's my company. It all parsed out fine, so it is valid. So there's the SQL Pretty Print, how to configure it and how to use it. And I would expect anybody who is delivering SQL syntax to a client, whether it's scripts or stored procedures, anything along those lines, that we would run it through here. It just gives it a much more polished, professional look, and consistent across all of our developers.